Hey everybody, there we go. Yeah, all right. Hi, happy Thursday morning. I'm still kind of getting used to it. I almost said Wednesday, but no, it's Thursday here, 9 o'clock, my time. Gudria, hi. Kayo's here, Anthony's here, lots of people are here. Anna Maria, hello. Rosa's here, so many people. Steve Lynn is back. Anupam, welcome. Cool. So lots of familiar names in the chat. Lots of a few new people there. Yaprak, hi. Zainab, yeah. Yeah. If it's your first time, welcome. Welcome to the class. I am Shaun. I'm going to be your teacher for the next hour or so, and I'm coming to you live from the studio at CCEL, the Canadian College of English Language. In Vancouver. All right, so we're going to start the class in a minute, but I thought when we're warming up and saying hi to everybody, I thought I would just mention that we've got some exciting stuff going on here where we are starting to offer more classes, right? Some of you guys know that Mark and I do classes every week, free classes, free for everyone to join. Around the world, you guys can pop in and we can help you. We can answer your questions and teach you a thing or two. Lots of fun for me. We got Sol from Ecuador. Cool. Your first class. Well, welcome. Good to see you. All right, so I'm here every Thursday morning. Mark is here every Wednesday morning. We're going to continue these classes because, well, they're a lot of fun for me. I enjoy them. But we're also adding new classes, and what we're doing is we're actually offering closed classes, meaning classes that you actually have to join, and you can pay to join these classes, and they involve more. They involve quizzes and listening exercises and homework and lots of stuff, and I believe a certificate when you're done the course. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, ask Zach. Zach is the moderator. He's in the chat there, and he can answer your questions if you have questions, if you want to learn more about any of these other classes. So a lot of these extra classes that you guys may have seen that we're offering this week, some newer faces like Neil or Nicole, they're going to be teaching some more classes come mid-September, okay? So, yeah, if you're interested, if you're curious, ask Zach and he'll direct you to the information, okay? But for now, as usual, I'm just going to do my thing here, okay? So, yeah, as I said, it's 9 o'clock where I am. I'm not sure what time it is where you guys are. I'm still a little bit sleepy, not used to teaching in the morning. I'm used to my afternoon spot. Got my coffee, I'm ready. All right, let's jump into it, shall we? All right, here we go. So today, I thought we would start by talking about superstition, okay? Superstition, the belief that objects or certain things can affect luck, right? This belief in luck, this idea that that certain objects are considered lucky or to be bad luck, like the horseshoe, right? Maybe not so much anymore, but traditional Western superstition is that the horseshoe was thought to be a lucky object, that if you put a horseshoe above your door, it was somehow it would keep evil away or something like that. So this is, I don't know how many people still believe that. If you do, that's great. But this is, as I said, a traditional superstition. Now what you guys can do while I'm talking about this in the chat, my question is, what are some objects in your culture? What are some things that may be considered good luck or bad luck? What are things that people believe? Yeprak is, yeah, the black cat, of course, is thought to be unlucky. The number 13 is believed to be bad, right? Well, let's start with the good stuff. I noticed somebody actually I don't know if it was Yaprak or Rosa or somebody in the chat even put a 4-leaf clover in there, right? For good luck, right? It is thought that the 4-leaf clover is a lucky object, although I actually don't technically see any 4-leaf clovers in this picture. They're all 3, but if there's a 4-leaf one in there somewhere, it's lucky, all right, apparently. Another, maybe a strange one, is the rabbit's foot, right? It is thought by some people that keeping a rabbit's foot in your pocket will bring you good fortune for some reason, all right? I'm not exactly sure about that one. Where that came from, I'm not sure. All right, so those are good luck charms, right? But we also have things that we think of as bad luck, right? Like walking under a ladder, right? Walking under a ladder is considered to be an unlucky thing. Yeah? You're saying that my audio is a little low? Here, I'll turn that up a bit for you. All right. What else is, yeah, breaking a mirror is also considered bad luck. Right, exactly, good. Tuesday the 13th. Okay. And of course, opening an umbrella indoors is considered to be bad luck by some people. Again, I don't know how many people in the chat here today are superstitious, or if you have things in your culture that are specifically thought to be bad luck. All right, but I mean, some of these things, I think what's interesting is to try to think about, or to think about, look at where these ideas came from originally, right? Now, I mean, the 4-leaf clover, I understand why someone would say that that's lucky, because they're not super common, right? They're kind of special. Most clovers have 3 leaves. If you find a 4-leaf one, it's unusual, so hey, it's a good thing, I guess, right? Sure. The rabbit's foot, I'm not exactly sure where that idea came from, why it's thought that the rabbit's foot is a good thing to have in your pocket. If anybody knows the answer to that, you can feel free to tell me in the chat too, right? Now the umbrella, I actually do know. Well, I don't know if I know for sure, but I have been told certain theories, okay? So the idea behind the umbrella being open inside, right? Why is that thought to be bad luck? Well, some people say that it goes back to Egypt, right? Back, not currently, but many, many years ago, back in the days when people believed in the sun god, right? It was believed that Ra was the god of the sun, and you use the umbrella to protect you from the sun, right? Okay? So it was thought that if you open an umbrella inside, that this guy would get angry, that it was kind of an insult to him to open an umbrella inside, right? So that's where this idea comes from, why the idea of the umbrella is lucky. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. What I just said, maybe that's just a story. I have no idea. But what I'm doing is I'm telling you what other people have said. I'm telling you what other people believe, okay? Specifically, not exactly what I believe, okay? Now, why am I doing this? Why am I talking about luck and superstition? Well, as usual, what I talk about at the beginning of class leads into the topic for today's class, right? So today, we are going to be talking about how to use specific structures to talk about what other people say or think or feel. Okay, so today's lesson is something called the impersonal passive. Okay, the impersonal passive voice, sometimes also called impersonal reporting. So this is a report structure. Okay, now usually when we talk about reporting, we're talking about you saying what someone else said, right? My dad said that I should study harder, for example. That's report right? That's a report structure. That's reported speech, okay? So what we're talking about now, today, is a specific structure called impersonal reporting, where we use this to report what other people feel or think or believe, okay? So we're going to look at two specific sentence structures today that you don't use when you're talking about your opinions, okay? You're not talking about what you think or what you feel, but you are going to be reporting what other people think, what their opinions are, what their thoughts are, their beliefs, and their feelings, okay? Now, before we continue, we're not specifically talking about, you know, what one person thinks or what one person feels, but the structure we're looking at today is going to be about what many people think, right? So superstition is a good place to start because it's a shared belief, right? Something that many people think. For example, the number 13, many people believe that the number 13 is unlucky, or depending on your culture, maybe the number 4, right? Okay, so let's get started. The impersonal passive reporting. Now this is a slightly more advanced structure. It's a little bit more formal, right? But we do use it. And in fact, I have been using it for the last 5 to 10 minutes when I've been talking to you. So let's look at an example. So this is a good one. It was once believed that the world was flat, right? A long time ago, hopefully nobody thinks that now, but at one point in time, many people thought that the world was flat, and then if you just got on a boat and went straight, you would eventually just fall off the side, okay? So this is something that many people believed in the past. So this is an example of the impersonal passive to report another person's beliefs. Caio says, you don't believe in superstitions? Yeah, sure. Yeah, some people do, some people don't. Athletes, professional athletes are very superstitious people, I find. Yeah? Okay, so here's one example. Here's another one, and then we'll break down the sentence and really look at how it's constructed, okay? So it is often said that practice makes perfect, right? It is often said. I mean, people say this. I guess, I mean, you could also say, it is often said that nobody's perfect. So practice makes perfect, but nobody's perfect. So I guess don't practice too hard, right? Don't hurt yourself, okay? All right. So the structure is this. This is, as I said, kind of advanced, but the structure, the formula is very, very simple, okay? So it looks like that. You start with it, then you have the passive voice, and you follow it with a that clause, okay? It plus passive plus that clause, okay? So before we look at the structure again, when we're talking about report structures or report verbs, these, I would say, are the most common verbs you use to talk about what other people believe or feel or say or think. You've got the real common ones up top, like say and think, okay? Believe, obviously. And then you've got a couple other ones that you may not have seen before. Allege, for example. Allege and claim and rumor are all similar ideas. Allege means that a person says it, but they don't necessarily have the proof, right? It's a claim, okay? So these are common. Oh, there's the 4-leaf clover in the chat there. Good, Kyle, thanks for that. All right, so these are report verbs. Let's see one in action. So back to this sentence. It was once believed that the world was flat, okay? So you start the sentence with the word it. It is your subject, okay? Followed by the passive voice, okay? Now, as you guys know, I'm sure by now, that the passive voice includes the verb to be, right? In this case, was, and then followed by a past participle. Now, in this case, it's just an ed verb, but you know that for passive voice, you have to use the third form of the verb, right? Your past participle, which some of you call your PP, right? Okay, so it plus your passive voice, I put once in there as the adverb, okay? Don't worry about that too much. And then you've got that followed by a clause, right? The world was flat, so you've got a subject and a verb there. So that is a clause in itself, okay? What we call a that clause. So you've got it, passive, that clause, to report what people used to think. It was once believed that the world was flat. So what we mean here, what you guys might say, is people once believed that the world was flat. Okay? People once believed that the world was flat. In this sentence, there's nothing wrong with saying this. It's fine. But again, as you guys know in this class, I'm always telling you guys to try to expand your range of sentence structures, right? Show people what you can do with the language. Don't just stick to the simple structures. Try to go beyond it. So it goes to that. It was once believed that the world was flat. Both of these sentences mean the same thing. This one, I would say, as I said before, is a little bit more formal, maybe. But you might want to use it if you're focusing more on the belief itself rather than the person or people that are doing it. Okay, that's typically what you would use this structure for. All right, let's look at one more example. Oh yes, and of course, I should also mention here, obviously you could put, it was once believed by people that the world was flat. Sometimes people want to put that agent in there, but if you're just talking about people in general, as with most passive sentences, you don't really need to say people, right? I mean, obviously people believe, or people think, people say. If you're not being specific, I don't think you need that in there at all. I would take it out and just say, it was once believed. And that we know you're not really talking about cats or dogs or anything like that. All right, Rosa has a question. Impersonal passive is used more in written than spoken language. Is that right? Yeah, typically I would say that this is more common in writing or in some kind of formal speech, right? But you might not say, it was once believed the world was flat if you're speaking to your friend at a cafe or something, maybe. I don't know what you guys discuss with your friends, so maybe you would. I don't know. But I think, yeah, Rosa, I'd say it's more common in written English for sure. Good question. Okay, so one more example, and then I'm going to get you guys to do some work for me, all right? So it is often said that practice makes perfect. Again, this is a report structure. I'm telling you what other people say, right? Not what I think, but what other people say. So this is the active voice, right? People often say that practice makes perfect. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's great. It's fantastic. But what I've done is I've flipped it around, right? And added it. So it, then you've got your passive structure again, right? Is, said. Again, I put an adverb in the middle with often, and that's fine. And then you've got your that clause. And it's as simple as that, right? Okay, now, one thing I'll show you. Oh, Mohammed, you like my haircut? Yeah, I got that for you yesterday. Yeah. It was fresh for you guys. Okay, so let me go into some notes here. Because as I said, if you're just talking about people in general, you don't have to include people in your sentence, right? You don't have to say, it is believed by people. But if you want to qualify the statement with a word like some people, or most people, or many people, then you may want to include it. So let's give an example here. So some people believe that, what can I say? Some people believe that Shaun is the best teacher on the internet. Okay. Some people, I didn't say most people, some. Basically it's me and my mother and maybe a couple other people, but we'll go with this for now, right? Some people believe that Shaun is the best teacher on the internet. All right? You can discuss that in the chat if you like. So because I'm saying some, I may want to include that when I turn it into this impersonal structure. And you could say, it is believed by some that Shaun is the best teacher on the internet. Okay? Good example. Kaio believes, yeah? Good. Important to again, this is not fact, this is opinion. All right? So in this case, I have put by some. Now you could say, again, you'll notice that I didn't include the word people there. You could say that. It is believed by some people that Shaun, right? But you don't need it if you just say some. Because again, in this case, some can function as kind of that pronoun, right? And you could do that with other words, right? It is believed by many. Yeah, maybe. Maybe not. We'll keep it simple, okay? So you may want to qualify the statement with words like this, some or something like that, right? You could also say something like this if you want to qualify your statement. Take that out and say, it is, what can we say? It is widely believed that Shaun is the best teacher on the internet. Hi, Tara, how are you? Hey, she's here. Cool. All right, so just the whole point of that was just to say that if you need to include some or many or something like that, if you want to qualify your statement, you can do that. But if you're just talking about what all people believe or people in general, you don't have to include that in your sentence. Okay, so how about this? Let's get down to business. If Zach can please put that that link in the chat, all right, to the exercise. Now I'm going to get you guys to do some work for me, all right? Rose is saying, we use it in an opinion essay to introduce your arguments. I wouldn't use it to introduce your arguments. You could do it to introduce the opinions of other people, right? But it's definitely not used to express your own opinion, right? And that's an important distinction, right? This is not what I'm saying. This is what other people think. So I'm not saying that I agree with them, Rosa. Okay, so be careful with that. Donnie D has a question coming in. By most is possible, as in it is believed by most. Sure, I would say that's possible. Yeah, go for it. Cool. Okay, so Zach, you got that link in the chat for me? He's about to put that in there. For now, when he puts the link in the chat to my exercise, you guys can open it up and make a copy, or I'm just going to leave this up on the screen here. So you've got 4 sentences. We'll keep it simple for now, and we'll expand on it, okay? I'm going to disappear from the screen. I'm going to go take a break, yeah, sip my water and look at your answers coming in. I would like you guys to take these 4 sentences, all right, and rewrite them with this impersonal passive structure. So for the first one, I'm only going to start you off with the word it, okay? So for all 4 of these sentences, I want you to start with it, and I want you to rewrite it with the passive to express what other people say, think, or feel, okay? So again, I'm going to pop off the screen. I'm going to put the happy little monkey dancing funky music on there, and I would like you guys to take your answers, put them in the chat, and then we'll go over them together, okay? And if you guys have questions while you're doing it, if you're stuck, if you're scared, if you're lost or alone, yeah, put it in the chat and we'll help you out, okay? I'm going to pop out. Get to work. All right, guys, good stuff. Lots of great answers coming into the chat. Let's go over some of this stuff together. So, A, we said people say that drinking a glass of red wine a day reduces one's chances of heart disease. Yeah, okay. Yeah, a glass, not a bottle necessarily. Okay, so and yes, it's good for the heart. I don't know what it does to your liver, but that's what they say. A glass of red wine a day is good for your heart. So, yeah, Rosa got it. Gudrea said it too, yeah. So what you guys did was, it is said, right? It is said. Now, some people said it is said by people. Now I'll come back to that. That drinking a glass of red wine a day, and then I'm going to get lazy, okay? Forgive me. I can do that. I'm the teacher. I can be lazy. That's fine. All right, so it is said by people that drinking a glass of red wine a day reduces one's chances of heart disease. Now this is fine. This is good. Tierno got it too. That's great. Now I would say if you included by people in this sentence, it's unnecessary and it even seems a little bit awkward, a little strange, just because we know that it's people. Because if it's people in general, people are really the only thing, the only species that really says anything, right? So if we say it is said that drinking a glass of red wine a day helps your heart, then we know that it's people and there's no need to include that, what we call the agent there, okay? So good stuff. Yeah, Zainab, same thing, yeah, with that one. Jose got it. Good, great work. So what about B? Now, people of ancient times believed that the planets and stars were gods, right? A long time ago. That's what they thought. Had names for all of them and everything. So how are you going to turn that into this impersonal reporting structure? What do we have here? Let's see another one. Okay, how about Jose? Jose says, it is believed. Oh, okay, now this is good. Now one thing, we didn't really talk much about this, but this is a good opportunity. So, well, for some reason it's not blue. That's fine. You see it is believed we'll say by people of ancient times that the planets and stars were gods. Okay, now there is one problem with this sentence, right? It is believed by people of ancient times that the planets and stars were gods. Now, in this case, you have to be careful of your tense, right? Now, in the first sentence, when we're talking about wine, we're using the present tense because we're talking about what people believe now, right? Now, people say that wine is good for you, yeah? But in this case, we're looking at, in letter B, we're talking about what people used to think, people in the past, right? So, yeah, some people are putting the answers in. Good stuff, guys. Thanks for that. And you'd say it was believed, right? It was believed by people of ancient times that the planets and stars were gods. If you want to take by people out, that's fine, but I wouldn't take all of this out. Now, some people said it was believed that the planets and stars were gods, but it's still a little bit unclear as to when or by whom. So if you don't want people there, you could just say that. It was believed in ancient times that the planets and stars were gods. You could go with that, and that's good too. Okay? Good stuff. All right. What's this question here? Steve is saying, I also want to know, like, here, no, is the word that? So it is said drinking, no, yeah. So you're asking me if you need the word that. I would say in most cases, no, you don't really need the word that. That is, especially in report structures, with reported speech, for example, you don't often need the that, right? I said that I like it, I said I like it. It's the same thing. So that is one of those extra little words that we like to toss in there that is not completely necessary. Good question, Steve Lynn. All right, so letter C. Letter C got me some interesting responses. So some people expect that the world will end in a zombie apocalypse. All right, so a bunch of people said it is expected that the world will end in a zombie apocalypse. All right. It is expected that the world will end in a zombie apocalypse. Now, this is grammatically, this is a great sentence. Perfect, right? If this is what you wrote, that's good. All right. And Kaio, I noticed you said like it is often expected. Jose said it is expected. Okay, now Jose, yeah, he got it there too. And I know Marianne qualified it. Maybe it's by optimistic people. I don't know. I don't know what pessimists think. If the optimists are hoping for a zombie apocalypse, I don't know what you're hoping for, Marianne. So in this case, the problem with this sentence is that it's not expected by most people, I don't think. Not at this point. Okay, maybe people that watch The Walking Dead, yeah? But in this case, you really have to qualify it and say it is expected by some people that the world will end in a zombie apocalypse. I don't think the majority of people believe that yet. Okay? Good. And the last one, the BBC has reported that the Prime Minister will announce his resignation tomorrow. Now let me find another example here. Okay, BBC. Yeah, okay, Marianne, you got it. Good, Drea, you've got it. You have an extra little verb in there, right? So you're saying, be careful of that. You're saying it's has been reported. Now you need that present perfect in there, but get that part out of there, right? Because that S there is actually is or has, right? So take that out and say it has been reported that the PM will announce his resignation tomorrow. Now actually, Marianne, where's your sentence? Did you say it has been announced? Now your sentence, Marianne, is good by saying it was announced that the PM will announce his resignation, but you've got announced twice in that sentence, which sounds a little bit awkward, right? I would just say use reported and announced instead, just to switch things up a bit. Good. So it has been reported, and if you wanted to specify here by the BBC, it has been reported by the BBC that the Prime Minister will announce his resignation tomorrow. Oh, I should put a period there, right? Yeah, right. Good. Good. All right. So this is just the beginning, but this is a good start, guys. Okay, so I want to look at another possibility, okay, another way of using this impersonal structure. So one thing that I didn't really talk about, but you guys kind of caught it anyway, is that for these impersonal structures, you can use different tenses, as we just saw, right? You can use the present tense to talk about a general belief now, or what people are saying now. It is said that. You can talk about the past. It was said. Present perfect. It has been said. Or even past perfect. It had been said. Arguably, you could also talk about the future and say it will be said, I guess. That was a little bit of a strange one that you probably won't use very much. But tenses are okay. You can talk about different times with these report structures. So how about, let's look at one other way of using this impersonal passive voice, okay? Option number 2, yeah? Let's go back to superstition. So remember the ladder, we were talking about bad luck. So we said this, or I actually said this at the beginning of class today. I said, it is believed by many that walking under a ladder brings bad luck. Well, yeah, I guess so. Some people still believe it, I think. I don't know if it's many or by some, but it is believed that walking under a ladder brings bad luck for whatever reason, okay? Probably because hundreds of years ago, somebody walked under a ladder and somebody dropped a hammer on his head and people said, yeah, that was unlucky. You shouldn't, you shouldn't do that. And that's probably where that superstition came from. But here's another option. This sentence is great. We just talked about this type of structure. Murad, hi. Thanks for joining us. Here's your other option, okay? Walking under a ladder is believed by many to bring bad luck. Both of these sentences are the same meaning. Both of them are report structures talking about what other people think, what other people believe, okay? It's just one more option, right, to add to your range of structures, okay? So let's talk about the breakdown. Now, what we just talked about before was it plus passive plus that clause, right? You can do the same kind of thing, but a little bit differently here. You say subject, the subject being not something other than it, right? You want the clear subject plus the passive verb, that report verb in the passive voice, and then a to infinitive. Now, Rose is asking me a question. Did I ask about this before? There's specific verbs we use? Yes. Yeah, I gave a list of specific ones, Rosa, like say, know, believe, think, expect, consider, claim, allege, report. There is a list for sure. Yeah, good question. So in this case, subject, passive, to infinitive. So let's break it down. Walking under a ladder. Walking is your subject, followed by a prepositional phrase. So walking under a ladder could be maybe considered the complete subject because it's quite specific, right? So walking under a ladder is your subject. Is believed, there's your passive structure, right? Your be verb plus your past participle with that report verb. And then, of course, I qualified it with by many because it's not everybody. And then you've got your infinitive there, okay? So walking under a ladder is believed by many to bring bad luck. And what I mean there is many people believe that walking under a ladder brings bad luck. Now, the difference between the passive and the active, the main thing that you need to watch out for, where the mistake might happen with the grammar, is that in the active, you're going to use your regular verb conjugation, right? And in the passive structure, you use the infinitive. So brings becomes to bring. And that's it. Easy as that, right? Piece of cake. But maybe we can look at another example, okay? So, where are my notes at? Let me go back in here. Okay, well, I mean, we could even play around with this, right? We could say, why not? Let's continue talking about how amazing I am. I like that. I like that plan. So let me make this a little bit bigger so everybody can see it. So it is widely believed that Shaun is the best. So Shaun is believed to be the best. Blah 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 blah. Okay. And there I didn't bother saying by some, but that's all you're doing. So Shaun is believed. Subject, passive, infinitive. Okay. Now the tricky thing with this, and then I'll get you guys to do another practice exercise for me, is that you have to be careful with the tense, okay? Now if you look at these three sentences, people think he is the best player, okay? Maybe it's soccer or tennis or whoever, so whatever you want to talk about. So in this case, in this sentence, I'm talking about people thinking now about something that's happening now, right? So people think now, he is the best player now. So you keep it in the present tense, right? And say he is thought to be the best player, right? Now in this case, let me change the color less, at least so it stands out a bit. So in this case, I'm using the present tense for my passive structure here, right? I'm using the be verb in present, and then the past participle, and then the infinitive. He is thought to be, right? Good. Tierno, you got it. But in the next one, I say people thought he was the best player. Now I'm talking about a past belief about a past thing, okay? Past and past. So in this case, I'm going to say he was thought to be the best player. Now again, this is fine. This is good. The only thing here I had to change was the verb to be, right? Because I'm talking about the thought being in the past, right? People used to think this. So he was thought, but you'll notice that it's still the infinitive, right? Good, and Kaio got that there. Shaun is known to be the humblest, humblest, maybe the most humble teacher on the internet. Yeah. Yes, modest and humble. That's me. Absolutely. Now the tricky part is when you look at the next sentence. Sentence C, right, is when I'm saying people think now that he was the past the best player, right? So this is a little bit different because the tenses of the belief and the thing that is believed are different times. So you have to be a little bit careful with that, because I can't just say he is thought to be the best player. I can't just say that again, because it looks exactly the same as this one, right? So people would be confused. They might think he is the best player now, but I'm saying he was the best player. Okay? So this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Now some of you are trying to change this, but don't change this. This is where it gets tricky. He is thought to have been. He is thought to have been the best player, okay? In this case, you're changing the infinitive, and you're keeping it to, but you're changing it to your kind of present, your perfect participle, okay? So he is thought to have been the best player. Yeah. He is thought that he was. No, Steve, that doesn't quite work. You would have to say it is thought that he was is fine, right? If you said that, and I'll put that up there just to be clear, the previous structure, if you said it is thought that he was the best player, that's fine. It is thought now that he was the best player in the past. Or, as I've said here, he is thought to have been the best player. Okay? So again, you're just tossing something else into your arsenal, right? All your language weapons, all these wonderful sentence structures that you can use. Okay? So, how about this? Let's do some practice. I want you guys to write a couple sentences for me with this structure. Okay? So go back into that document that I shared with you guys. Okay? Now, if for some reason maybe if you're just joining, if Zach maybe could pop that link back in the chat to that document again, just in case some people missed it the first time. Open that doc, make a copy so that you can write on it, or again, I'm just going to leave these sentences here. Okay? And you'll notice that the first one is the same as the previous exercise, but I want you to write it in a different way. So again, I'm giving you 4 sentences, okay, and I want you to rewrite them with this second option for impersonal passive. So I'll help you out a little bit, and with that first one, I would start with drinking a glass of red wine, and then continue from there, okay? And how about, I'm gonna make that blue, just to make it nice and pretty. Oh, look at that, that's nice, okay. So, finish that sentence, and the other 3. I'm gonna pop off again, I'm gonna sip my water, and put your answers in the chat, and then we'll go over them. Okay, guys, get to work. And if you have questions, put them in the chat. All right?
Let's suppose that you're writing a really important email to a colleague.
Okay, good stuff. Time is ticking along. Let's go over some of these. I'm seeing some good answers in the chat here. So the first one, people say that drinking a glass of red wine a day reduces one's chance of heart disease. So okay, let's go to Soul. Soul says drinking a glass of red wine a day is said, good start, is said to reduce one's chances of heart disease. Okay, now this Soul is almost perfect. This is good. This is what I like to call a good mistake, because other people can learn from this. Now be careful with the infinitive here. Okay, when you're using the to infinitive, you have to take that D off of there. You don't want it in the past tense, right? So you want to say, drinking a glass of red wine is said to reduce one's chances of heart disease, okay? And if you take that D off, take that past tense off, that is perfecto, yeah? Good stuff. All right, thanks for that. What about B? Why is this isn't blue? Let me go in here. There we go, okay. So, many people consider Jonathan Franzen one of the most talented American novelists of his day. So who's got it? Luis says JF. Okay, he's getting, you can get a little lazy with that. That's fine. What happened to my blue? My blue went. That's fine. JF, he says, is considered to be one of the most talented, and then I'm going to get lazy there too, okay, just for time reasons here, okay? So that is great. If you said Jonathan Franzen is considered, if you said considered by many, that's fine too. If you want to qualify it, is considered by many to be one of the most talented writers of his day. One special thing with the verb consider that's a little bit different from most of the other report verbs is you actually don't even really need the infinitive with consider. If you want to leave it there, that's great. If you want to take it away and just say Jonathan Franzen is considered one of the most talented writers of his day, that's fine too, okay? But if you want to leave it there, that's great. Really good. And I see lots of people got it. Yeah, right. Zainab got it. Sol, you got it, yeah? I think Steve Lynn, you nailed it there. Good. Okay. So what about C? People believe Halloween originated in the 9th century. Now again, this is what people think. It's hard to prove exactly when people started to celebrate Halloween. Now this one, I got a couple of you. It got a little tricky. Let me make that blue here. So, but I think Steve Lynn, I couldn't trick you. You got it. So we said Halloween. Oh, I lost it. Is believed now, right? People believe now to have originated in the 9th century. I think Steve got that. Did you? Halloween is believed to have originated in the 9th century. That is perfect. Now, some of you want to be careful of this. A few of you use the kind of the passive voice with the infinitive there, and you wouldn't do that. So I saw some people said that, right? Halloween is, whoops, my mistake. Need that D on there, right? Halloween is believed to have been originated in the 9th century. Originate is one of those verbs that we don't typically use in the passive voice. It's more of one of those intransitive verbs that does not, you can't originate something else, right? Something originates itself. It's an intransitive verb. So don't use the passive there and just say Halloween is believed to have originated in the 9th century. Good. All right. And how about this last one here? Some people think Toronto is that capital of Canada. Now, I made a little mistake there. That shouldn't be that capital. It should be the. Some people think Toronto is the capital of Canada, but it is not. No, it's the biggest city. It's an important city, right? But it is not the capital of Canada. Ottawa is the capital city of Canada, but many people from other countries think that Toronto is the capital. That's fine. I'm not angry if you do. Doesn't hurt my feelings. Toronto's great. So let's start with Toronto. And a lot of you guys got this one too. All right. Yeah, right. Zainab, you got it. You said Toronto is thought. I think you missed the T on thought, though. You want to put that T at the end. To be the capital of Canada. But it is not, right? Now with this one, you could say is thought by some to be the capital of Canada. Okay, you can qualify this in many ways. Thought by some to be the capital. I like this little adverb here. I'm going to say this. Toronto is often mistakenly thought to be the capital of Canada. And then I don't even need the "but it is not" at the end. Look how fancy I'm getting with my report structures. Toronto is often mistakenly believed or mistakenly thought to be the capital of Canada. All right. Good stuff. All right. Any questions in there? Not so much. Okay, so, wow, we have very little time. There's one more thing I want you guys to do before we go. I don't think we're going to have time for the mistake of the week this week, but I do have another thing here that I want you guys to do for me instead, okay? So this is, who are you? Okay, I'm going to put 3 sentences on the screen, okay? And all 3 sentences are about a famous person. Just read the sentence, and if you know who this person is, you can put the answer in the chat. And if whoever gets it first is the fastest student on the internet. Okay, let's practice these report structures here. So, can you guess the famous person? All right. First one. Again, these are 3 sentences. It's all about the same person. Okay. So the first person to get it is the best. The first person to get it will be thought to be the best student on the internet. Okay. He is considered to be one of the greatest living actors. Okay, the greatest living actors, one of the greatest, okay, is considered by many. Okay? Next one. It was felt for years that he deserved an Academy Award before he finally got one. Okay, so it was felt for years. People thought for many years that he deserved the Best Actor award before he finally won. Okay? And now your last clue. No answers yet in the chat. It is rumored that he will make another movie with Revenant director Alejandro González Iñárritu. Oh, wow, Eduardo got it. Wow, you guys are fast. Kaio, you're out of here? All right, see ya. Now, Eduardo nailed it. Rosa came in second. Good for you. Yes, because the answer is DiCaprio, right? Leonardo DiCaprio. There you go. Tierno got it too. Yeah, good. So dreamy, so talented. Okay. So how about this? This is what I'm going to propose. So I have Tom Hanks. That's a good guess. That's a really good guess, actually, because Tom Hanks is good too. So I'm going to put this on the Facebook group because I would like you guys to practice this type of sentence structure, not just changing sentences that I give you, but coming up with your own sentences. So I'm going to put this challenge on the Learn English on Facebook group, and I'm going to put the Leonardo DiCaprio as an example, but I'd like you to choose a famous person. They could be living, they could be dead, they could be real or not. It could be a cartoon, it doesn't matter. But I want you to write 3 sentences using the report structures that we've talked about today to put on the Facebook group for other people to guess who you are describing. Okay, so that's all a little complicated. I'll put the instructions on the Facebook group a little bit later today, and I want to see some examples of impersonal passive report structures. Okay? Yes, I know. You guys are too distracted by DiCaprio behind me. You're not listening to me at all. You're just looking at him. I can't compete. It's hard to compete with DiCaps. All right? So how about this? I will pop out of there so that you guys can pay attention to me for a minute. So I'm going to put that on the Facebook group, Learn English on Facebook. If you're not a member, join up. You can put your English questions on there, and we'll answer them. We'll help you out. Mark or Karim or myself or anybody who's available will help you out. Even other students can help you out. Steve Lynn is saying, it is rumored and rumor has it. Yes, same meaning, Steve. Yeah, that's a good question. All right, I may have made up that rumor, actually. Or, I mean, I may have read it somewhere. I don't know if it's true, but I guess that's what we're doing here today in class, is learning how to gossip, learning how to make up rumors and spread them on Facebook. Okay, so in the meantime, keep watching Mark's open class on Wednesdays at 9. My class next Thursday at 9, same time, same place, which is everywhere in the world at the same time. Okay, and again, if you have questions about any of those closed classes where you get homework assignments and quizzes and listening practice, reading practice, and more attention from the teacher, you can ask Zach. Zach will direct you to the website where you can sign up for that, okay? So in the meantime, keep practicing your English, keep using your passive report structures, and we will see you here next time, okay, guys? Always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you here next week, okay? And I should say, there are going to be classes all next week at different times too, so keep an eye on the schedule. We've got classes almost every day next week, okay? So keep watching. See ya.